After just a few weeks of speculation, the successor to Jon Stewart's seat at The Daily Show has been announced. Comedian Trevor, a recent Daily Show contributor, will take over as the host of the show when Stewart leaves later this year. Noah built his career in his homeland of South Africa before bringing his comedy to the States in 2012, becoming the first South African comedian to appear on The Tonight Show and Letterman. The announcement that Noah would become the host of The Daily Show kept the internet's perpetually outraged community content for about 12 hours until they decided they needed something to be upset about. At that point, they dug through 6 years of Noah's tweets, filtering out a dozen or so to determine that Noah was a sexist anti-Semite. Fortunately, Comedy Central and many of his fellow comedians are standing behind Noah in the wake of the controversy. Noah himself responded to the complaints, saying, "To reduce my views to a handful of jokes that didn't land is not a true reflection of my character, nor my evolution as a comedian." And if you thought that was the most ridiculous thing you'd hear this week, you'd be wrong, because it was April Fool's Day on Wednesday, inspiring the internet to lie even more than usual. The fake news can be rough to deal with, but April Fool's Day also brings out the creative side in people. This year's highlights include IGN's Fast to the Future, giving us a look at the franchise crossover we never knew we wanted. Meanwhile, Agri Birds by Rovio appears to be a farm simulator that is also part shooter, part dress-up game, part dating sim, and part horror. Geek continued their tradition of creating fake products that people would actually buy. This year's notables include the Encounter wearable Quest device, Groot beer and rocket fuel, a literal steam-powered gaming cabinet, and the Voltron cat condo. On the other hand, Amazon pretended to take consumerism way too far with the Amazon Dash. With the press of a button, Amazon Prime members can instantly order refills of household goods to be delivered to their door. Haha, Amazon. Very funny. Wait, this is a real thing? Oh god. Elsewhere, Google destroyed thousands of potentially productive work hours by adding a Pac-Man option to Google Maps, so if you ever wanted to play Pac-Man on a map based on your neighborhood, now you can. League of Legends pretended to add a brand new game mode. New Ultra Rapid Fire mode, or N.U.R.F, offers the slowest paced MOBA gameplay you could ever ask for. And while Blizzard's Big Head mode for Heroes of the Storm wasn't quite as funny, you can at least give them credit for actually putting it into the game for a day. Speaking of Blizzard, Starcraft II Legacy of the Void went into closed beta this week. The upcoming expansion will upend the metagame by making major changes to the number of starting workers and minerals in the patches. As far as new units go, Terran will get the Cyclone, a mobile unit that can attack on the go and lock onto targets. Terran will also be able to lift up and drop tanks in siege mode, and battlecruisers will gain the tactical jump ability, allowing them to teleport anywhere on the map. Zerg players will see the return of the Lurker, a long-range unit that morphs from the Hydralisks, and will get a new unit, the Ravager, which is an upgraded roach with a powerful activated ability. For current units, Corruptors have lost the ability to corrupt, and instead they have Caustic Spray, a channeled ability good for taking out buildings. Swarm hosts can now manually spawn locusts while unburrowed, and the locusts can fly over terrain, but must land to attack. Finally, for the Protoss, the Adept is a new gateway unit with a ground-only ranged attack and the ability to kinda teleport. Meanwhile, the Disruptor is a robo unit that is basically a floating AoE bomb. Warp Prisms have been buffed to pick up units from a distance. Immortals have traded in their passive Hardened Shield ability for an activated Barrier Shield. Oracles can drop Stasis Wards to take enemy units out of the fight for 30 seconds. The Tempest, originally designed to counter flying Mutalisks, can now only fire on ground units. And Carriers can now send their Interceptors on long-range suicide missions. But while Legacy of the Void is invite-only, anybody can get in on Hearthstone's Blackrock Mountain Adventure. The new adventure went live this week, adding 31 new dragon-themed cards to the game. Last but not least, Nintendo picked April 1st to release their latest Nintendo Direct. No joke, Mewtwo is on the way. The DLC fighter will be available on April 28th. Mewtwo will cost $4 for both the 3DS and the Wii U versions of the game, or you can get them for both versions for $5. And if you've already registered both the 3DS and Wii U versions of Smash Bros. On Club Nintendo, you'll get your free download code on April 15th. More DLC for Smash was also announced in the form of costumes for Mii fighters at a cost of 75 cents each. Along with the DLC, Smash Bros. Is getting an update patch that'll tweak character balance, which is something Nintendo has previously said they wouldn't be doing. Oddly, there is no word about tournament mode in this update, but there was a bigger surprise announcement. Lucas comes out of nowhere. Mewtwo won't be the only DLC character. Earthbound's Lucas will be available for purchase in June. Lucas won't be the last either. Nintendo has opened up a ballot to take suggestions for other potential Smash characters. Personally, I'm leaning between Tails and Toon Ganondorf. For survival horror games, Nintendo announced a Fatal Frame game for the Wii U, where you use the gamepad as a camera to investigate the area and to take photos of angry ghosts. Which is a great idea and all, but seriously, where's Pokemon Snap? Instead, Nintendo came up with Pokemon Rumble World. Available on April 8th, this free-to-play 3DS game puts you in the shoes of a toy Pokemon fighting and capturing other toy Pokemon. However, free doesn't really mean free, so expect to shell out some money to buy the Pokédiamonds you'll need to advance. New information was also revealed about the next Fire Emblem game for the 3DS. This time around, the game will force players to choose between one of two factions early on in the game and see how things develop from there. Apparently, the game has been released in Japan in two versions as Fire Emblem If, Black Kingdom and White Kingdom. Each game locks the player into its respective scenario, but allows them to purchase the other scenario as DLC. It's unclear if the North American release will follow the same model. But if 1.5 Fire Emblem games isn't enough, let's round it up to 2 because Fire Emblem is getting paired up with Shin Megami Tensei for a very unusual crossover game. Because when I think of Fire Emblem, I think of Japanese high schoolers in silly costumes. Finally, it's about time for Mario Kart 8's Animal Crossing DLC to go live. Like the Zelda DLC before it, the Animal Crossing DLC will add 3 new racers, 4 new karts, and 8 new courses to the game. Also announced, for the first time in the franchise, Mario Kart 8 is stepping it up with a 200cc mode, bringing the game's speed up to a new high. And that leaves us with this week's awesome video. This week, Kite Tales brings us a comprehensive history of Superman.
He briefly appeared in a 90s reboot animated cartoon called Captain Planet, but unfortunately, the program was cut after lobbying from oil tycoon William Dafoe.
April Fools. Kite Tales is awesome, but Lindsay Sterling is back with a new music video. This time she's going full Disney with an adaptation of Into the Woods. And that's everything for this week. What was your favorite April Fool's prank? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, maybe pass this video around to your friends, and have a great week.